So today we're going to be changing the wheel spaces on the rear of the S13. I'm changing to some smaller ones, as well as I will try and explain to you guys a little bit about fitment and how to measure your fitment and wheel specs and everything like that. As you can see, the fitment in the rear is really good, but again, once she squats down on clutch kicks and stuff, the car does bounce down a little bit, and I don't want to crack that fender. I'm using the GK Tech bolt-on spacers. These ones are 30 mil. I've currently got 40 mils on the rear. I'll take one out. So here's what they look like out of the box. They're made from high quality aluminium, and as well as they come with extended studs straight out of the box. I'll put a picture of the specifications here so you guys can read that. Just gonna move the car forward slightly so I have some more room in the rear to jack it up. So I only want to move it to about here. I could push it, but for the sake of the video, I'm gonna start it because it sounds good. I'm not exactly sure if it is gonna start because a week ago we tried to jump start his car with my car. So let's see if she'll even start. So I've got the key and oh, sounds strong. I love the Haltech dash. Sounds so good. Makes me want to drive it. I always gotta show y'all like a sound video. So I just pushed the jack under. I am going to jack it up from the diff. That's where I usually do it from. I'll show you guys under the car. So you want to make sure you get it in the middle of the diff. So about there. So it's all jacked up. I've got some jack stands I'm just going to put under here for safety. I'm going to stick it under this thing. Under the subframe, just on the joint. So usually you would want to loosen or crack these while the car's on the ground, but I made an obvious mistake and forgot, so we're going to use the agar-agar gun. It's not a little hack if you didn't already know. If you can't get the nut out, just thread it back on, and pull it. Now we're just going to take the wheel off. And there is my humongous wheel spacer. Let's talk about my rear setup while we're here. Okay, so I run a R32 dual caliper rear setup with RB factory dual caliper mounts. These are R32 GTST rotors, and then we've converted to some 5-stud hubs. We also run an axle spacer because of the bracket for the dual calipers. And when you're doing this as well, just make sure you get GTST. If you are going the R32 route, make sure you get GTST, not GTR, because GTR won't fit. So I do run GK Tech rear traction arm, toe arm, and camber arms in the rear here, as well as the GK Tech dual caliper lines. They are really handy. This video is not sponsored by GK Tech. GK Tech just make really good bolt-on, easy to install parts for cars like S13 and all the other Jap cars. One thing this car does need upgraded is the coilover setup. I still run Max Peating Rod's coilovers. They're definitely next on the list of the things that I need to upgrade. So I tried to draw this diagram, but I'll just get one off Google. That one's hard to read. So basically, I'll put the little diagram here about positive, negative, and neutral offset. These are the two different rims that I run. Look what I just found. It's a little baby water dragon. He's so cute. So this one is my 18 by 9 inch wheel, and this is my 18 by 10 inch wheel. So basically, to explain this, I'll turn it sideways. So this, assuming, would be the center of the wheel. If the mounting point, meaning here, the center where you mount from. If that point is further back this way, that would mean you have negative offset. Versus if the point of mounting is further this way, that is your positive offset. So to explain that, on a stock body S13, you would want a more positive fitment because your guards are smaller, meaning you want obviously a smaller wheel, majority of your wheel under the car. Whereas if you have a wide body S13 or a wider body car, you would want a more negative offset wheel, pushing your mounting point in more and bringing the barrel of the wheel out to the outside of the car to fill your guard, if that makes sense. So the reason I run such a thick spacer is because these wheels that I wanted to run didn't come in the correct specs to push the wheel out far enough to fit the over fenders that I run. So I just had to make up the difference with the spacer because these two are both positive offset. That's all I could get my hands on. So also the good thing about 3-piece wheels is that you can change your offset by changing your barrel, which is the outer part here. So you would undo or get a shop preferably to do it. Take these off and you would then get a bigger barrel if that's what you're after, a wider barrel, and put that on the front and bolt it all back together. So for the sake of this, let's just say your mounting point is in the middle here, a neutral offset, and you put a wider barrel that goes to here on it. That would change your offset because if you measure from here to the back of your wheel, the center would be somewhere different around here, meaning you would now have negative offset, if that makes sense. This is also so satisfying to peel off. Look at that. So this is the spacer that I'm currently running. It is 50 mil. I thought it was 40 mil. So now I've changed to 30 mil. So there's a good 20 mil of difference there, which will bring the chrome wheels a bit further in, so I'm not having that issue of potentially cracking these guards. So you want to lock tight the thread, not the nut. Oh geez, that's a lot. So just put some on each of the threads. Slide that on. Do these up before the Loctite dries. So GK Tech recommends 72 foot-pound to 87 foot-pound. They say anything more than that you risk stripping your studs, so we went with 85 just to be safe.
Okay.
I did this one off camera, so we're going to move opposite that one. So we're going to go to this one. You want to make sure you're always going opposite and pull it very slowly and steady. You don't want to jerk the torque wrench. So the space is all torqued on. I'm just going to lift the wheel up like this because I'm not very strong. Got the car back on the ground, and as you can see, the fitment is already changed. The wheel has gone in quite a long way, so now I can fit my fingers up under there, and there is some squatting room now, which is exactly what I wanted. I hope that gave you guys a bit more understanding about wheel fitment and positive and negative offsets and things like that. I'm not the best at explaining it, but I hope you got the idea. I'm really happy with the rear fitment now. The next event might be the Australia Day event. I'll just have to see first. But anyway, as always, Sally said don't forget to subscribe, and thank you for watching.